Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. I know I've been gone for a while, but I promise I was just preparing the final cut. I paused the video. The timestamp read 0014. I stared at the woman on the screen. Kaelin, the girl the whole internet had been looking for. 2 weeks ago, Kaelin vanished. One day she was posting stories about her new apartment in downtown Seattle, and the next, nothing. No goodbye, no taking a break post. Just digital silence. The police had nothing, the internet sleuths had nothing. But I had something. I had her raw footage. I pressed play again. So step 1 is always hydration. You can't fix the surface if the foundation is rotting. Kaelin smiled. It was that perfect, polished smile that won her 5 million subscribers. She reached for a bottle of serum, unscrewed the cap, and applied it to her cheeks. Then she stopped. She didn't freeze. It wasn't a buffering issue. The file was playing perfectly. She just stopped acting. Her smile dropped. Her muscles went slack. She turned her head slowly, painfully, until she was looking directly into the camera lens. Directly at me. She didn't blink. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Her pupils were dilated, black holes in a ring of blue. She looked like a doll that had been turned off. Then, just as quickly, she snapped back, the smile returned. And step 2, she chirped, is exfoliation. I hit the spacebar so hard my keyboard rattled. I sat back in my chair, the silence of my apartment rushing in to fill the room. My hands were shaking. People say they want to know the truth about missing people. They don't. Because usually the truth is looking right back at you. My name is Elias. I edit videos for people who are too famous to do it themselves. It's not a glamorous life. My apartment is a box. No windows, just soundproofing foam on the walls and the hum of 3 computer monitors that serve as my sun, moon, and stars. I hadn't slept in 24 hours. Not since the email came through. Subject: Project Kaelin, urgent. Sender unknown. Body: police missed this. We need a tribute video for the memorial. Payment: $10,000. Deadline: dawn. 10 grand. That was rent for a year. It was a way out of this debt. I didn't ask where they got the footage. I didn't ask why the police didn't have it. I just clicked download. I scrubbed through the timeline. The file was huge. 3 hours of raw 4K footage. Most of it was boring, just Kaelin walking around her room, setting up lights, checking her phone. But there was something wrong with the room. I leaned in closer to the monitor. The lighting in her video was off. In one clip, the light was coming from the left. I cut to the next clip, time stamped only 10 seconds later, and the shadow was cast from the right. Bad continuity, I muttered to myself. She moved the lamp. But she hadn't moved. She was sitting in the exact same spot. I took a sip of lukewarm energy drink and rubbed my eyes. Focus, Elias. Just cut the tribute. Get the money. Get out. I scrubbed forward to the 45-minute mark. Kaelin was sitting on her bed, talking about her favorite books. I've been reading this one all week, she said, holding up a thick paperback. It's about a man who gets trapped in a room he can't leave. I frowned. I looked to my left. On my bookshelf, sitting on top of a stack of unpaid bills, was the exact same book, The Cage of the Mind. I had bought it yesterday. I hadn't even cracked the spine yet. Coincidence, I whispered. It's a bestseller. Everyone has it. I looked back at the screen. Kaelin placed the book on her nightstand. Wait, I paused the video. I zoomed in. Sticking out of her copy of the book was a bookmark. A red bookmark, with a rip on the top corner. I looked at my book. My bookmark was red. I reached out and touched the top corner. Ripped. A cold sweat broke out on the back of my neck. Okay, I said aloud. My voice sounded thin in the soundproofed room. Okay, that's weird. That is very weird. I put my headphones back on. I needed to focus on the audio. Maybe there was a clue in the background noise. I isolated the audio track. I killed the vocals. I boosted the bass. There was a sound under the white noise, a rhythmic mechanical thumping. Thump, pause. Thump, pause. It sounded like a heartbeat, but heavy. Metallic. I froze. The sound in my headphones was perfectly synchronized with the sound coming from my kitchen, my washing machine. I had put a load of laundry in 20 minutes ago. It was an old machine, off balance. It made a specific, heavy thud every time it spun. Thump, 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 thump. I tore the headphones off and threw them onto the desk. "Who sent me this?" I hissed. I opened the file properties. Date created today. Time created right now. The file size was increasing. It wasn't a recording, it was a stream. I looked at the monitor. Kaelin was no longer talking about books. She was sitting on the edge of her bed, staring, not at the camera. She was staring at something off-screen. I moved my mouse to zoom in on the window behind her. It was night in the video. The glass was dark, reflective. I zoomed in until the pixels started to blur. I could see the reflection of the room she was looking at. It wasn't a bedroom. It was a dark room, with foam on the walls, and 3 glowing monitors. I saw the back of a man's head. He was wearing a grey hoodie. I looked down at my chest, grey hoodie. I slowly, trembling, raised my right hand and waved. On the screen, in the tiny pixelated reflection, the man waved. I wasn't watching a video of Kaelin. Kaelin was watching me. "Hello?" I choked out. On the screen, Kaelin moved. She didn't just move. She glitched. Her body snapped from the bed to the chair in a single frame. She leaned forward. Her face filled the entire screen. Her skin was too smooth. Her eyes were too bright. She wasn't looking at a camera lens. She was looking through the glass. At me. "You missed a cut, Elias," she said. Her voice didn't come through the headphones. It came through my computer speakers. It came through the walls. "What do you want?" I screamed. "Where are you?" "Frame 402, she said. Her voice was cold, mechanical. "You missed the shadow. You were supposed to edit out the shadow." "I don't understand." "You're not supposed to understand, Elias. You're supposed to edit." I scrambled backward, my chair tipping over. I hit the floor hard. I needed to get out. I needed to call the police. I grabbed my phone from the desk. The screen was black. I pressed the power button. White text appeared on the black screen. "Error. Device not found." I looked back at the monitors. Kaelin was smiling again, that dead influencer smile. "Where are you going, Elias? The render isn't finished." I ran. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted for the apartment door. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about the contract. I just needed to breathe fresh air. I needed to see a person, a real person. I grabbed the handle. It was cold. I unlocked the deadbolt. I threw the door open. There was no hallway. There was no neighbor's door. There was no world. Beyond the doorframe, there was only grey, buzzing static. A wall of digital noise. I reached my hand out. My fingers touched the grey mist and disappeared. They didn't hurt. They just dissolved into pixels. I stumbled back, clutching my hand. My fingers reappeared as soon as I pulled them back inside the room. "What is this?" I sobbed. "Where am I?" I turned back to the monitors. Kaelin was standing now. She looked impatient. She looked bored. "You're glitching, Elias," she sighed. "This happens with the older models. You get obsessive. You start looking for patterns where there aren't any." "I'm a person," I yelled. "I'm Elias Vance. I was born in Chicago. I have a mother." "You have a backstory," Kaelin corrected, "and it's a very convincing one. We paid a lot for that backstory." She reached for something on her desk. In my room, the sky ripped open. The ceiling of my apartment didn't break. It dissolved. And looking down at me, through the roof of my world, was a giant, terrifying face. It was Kaelin, but she was huge, a titan. She was looking down at me like I was an ant in a jar, or a file in a folder. I saw her hand move. It was the size of a building. She was holding a computer mouse. No, I whispered. No, please. It's okay, Elias, her giant voice boomed, shaking the floorboards. You did a good job. But the project is done. We don't need the editor anymore. I saw the cursor. It was a white arrow, sharp and sleek, descending from the static sky. It hovered over me. A glowing box appeared around my body. Select Elias Vance. Please, I screamed. I'm real. I feel this. I'm scared. Doesn't that mean I'm real? Kaelin shrugged. The movement caused an earthquake in my room. It just means the simulation is working, she said. She clicked the right mouse button. A menu appeared in the air next to me. Copy, paste, rename, delete. She scrolled down. Goodbye, Elias. She clicked.
System purged. Recycle bin emptied. Loading new asset. Welcome, Elias version 2.0.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.